We all have things that get in our way, right? Obstacles. But what if the very thing that's standing in your path is actually the path itself? Today, we're going to dive into a huge shift in thinking that can turn pretty much any challenge into a real opportunity.
This is such a great way to kick things off. Think about it. It's not about trying to avoid the tension or the stretching. It's about understanding that the resistance, the trouble, is exactly what gives you the power you need to really launch yourself forward.
All right, so let's see how this idea plays out in real life. We're going to look at a simple but really powerful old story about a wise king and a lesson that, well, his people would never forget.
So you have this king, and he gets it. He knows that the most important lessons aren't the ones you're told, they're the ones you live through. So he sets up a little experiment to show everyone a basic truth about what it really takes to succeed. So, what's his big plan? Well, the king secretly has this giant stone, a huge boulder, placed right in the middle of the main road. And then he just hides nearby, waiting to see how people would react to this, sudden roadblock. And sure enough, it wasn't long before the kingdom's most important people started coming down the road. We're talking wealthy merchants, the king's own advisors, the big shots.
And what was their immediate reaction? Well, they saw an inconvenience, and they started complaining loudly. They blamed the king, saying he wasn't doing his job, that he should be keeping the roads clear for them.
And here's the most important part of this whole thing. For all their loud complaints and all their finger pointing, not a single one of them even tried to move the stone. They just huffed and puffed, walked around it, and left the problem for somebody else.
For a while there, it kind of looked like the king's test was a bust. But then, the story takes a really interesting turn. Someone totally different comes along. He was just a regular farmer, probably thinking about the market, his cart full of vegetables, and when he saw this massive stone blocking his way, he didn't start yelling, he just stopped.
And you know what he did? Without even hesitating, he put down his basket and just started pushing. And it was not easy. He was just one guy, straining with every muscle he had, fighting against this huge, dead weight. But after a whole lot of effort, he did it. He finally managed to move that giant stone off to the side of the road. He cleared the path, not just for himself, but for every single person who was going to come after him. So, feeling pretty good about it, the farmer goes back to pick up his basket. But as he does, he glances down and sees something on the ground right in the exact spot where that giant obstacle used to be. It was a bag, a heavy bag, and inside, it was full of gold coins. A treasure literally hidden right underneath the very problem that everybody else went out of their way to avoid. And right there with the gold, there was a little note from the king. And it basically said that this treasure was a reward specifically for the one person who had the initiative to actually do something about the obstacle. See, this little story just unpacks such a big truth about how we can approach our own lives, so let's really break down the lesson here. Okay, so here's the big takeaway. That stone was never just a stone. It was a test, but it was disguised as a problem. And in our own lives, every single difficulty, every challenge we face, it's got an opportunity hidden inside of it, an opportunity for growth or strength or even a reward. So this really breaks it down into two different mindsets, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got the complainers. They only see the problem, and they're quick to blame other people because, honestly, that's easier. It means they don't have to do anything. But then you have the farmer. He sees an opportunity. He takes responsibility, and he actually embraces the effort. And the real key here is that we all get to choose which one of those people we're going to be. And this whole idea, that our strength is literally forged in hardship, that's not just from some old story. It's a fundamental truth about how we grow. Let's dig into that a little more.
Just think about these ideas for a second. That storm that feels so destructive, sometimes its real job is just to clear out all the old stuff and make way for something new. A tree never gets strong and fruitful by being protected from the wind. It needs that resistance to build strong roots. It's not the easy stuff that makes us stronger. It's tackling the things that feel impossible. Every single time you push through a difficulty, you are building your resilience.
So, what's the path forward? It's really not a secret. Step 1, you got to find the courage to actually face the obstacle instead of just walking around it. Step 2, you have to put in the work. And what happens then? Well, your dreams stop being these far-off things, and they start becoming your actual reality. The destination you're trying to reach actually starts moving towards you. Man, this quote just hits it perfectly. The hard work, the discomfort, the effort you put in right now, that's a direct investment in your future peace. But if you always choose the easy way today, you're basically taking out a loan from your future self. And trust me, that's a debt that always comes due.
And so, this all comes back to a single question for you. We all have these stones in our path, big and small. The king's story is more than just a nice tale. It's really a challenge. So what's the stone sitting in your road right now? And what amazing treasure might be hiding right underneath it, just waiting for you to find the courage to start pushing?